Hello, my name is Marian. I'm from the blog Miss Mustard Seed.
My name is Christy. I'm from the blog Rosemary in Time.
And I am teaching Christy today how to remove old upholstery and then ultimately add new upholstery. So
It's the goal. It's the goal.
That's right. So have you ever
Right
done...
now it looks scary, but...
Right. So have you ever done any upholstering before?
No, I've just done small projects. I did my dining room chairs, but that was just, basic seat cushion. Kind
like
of
the
thing.
present wrapping
Yep.
sort of
Yep.
method for upholstery. So the chairs that we're working on today, we actually filmed a segment before we started stripping them and had some focus issues. So we've been working on stripping the chairs, and so you're already getting some experience with it. So the chairs that we're working on today are a French style of chair, and the reason why we're starting with these is, in my opinion, these are some of the easiest chairs to reupholster, and that's mainly because the upholstered parts are all in panels. So if you mess up in one section, it's not going to affect another section if you have to rip it out and do it again. So if you see this style of chair, it's a great style to start on. Yeah, and I just love this style anyway, so it suits me well. But maybe we'll graduate to like wing chairs and stuff like that. That gets a lot more complicated. So if you're new to upholstery, this is a good place to start. So the first thing we have to do is the totally not fun in any way, shape, or form part as you're learning, which is removing the old upholstery. We are twice blessed with these chairs because they have the nail head trim as well as staples. So it's double the joy.
Double the fun.
Yes. So since these though they don't have actually individual nail heads, they have this trim that's sort of a faux nail head trim. So this does make it easier. There's only a real tack every 5 tacks or so, or nail heads. So we're making pretty quick work of stripping it off, and we're leaving the foam in place now, although we will remove the foam off of the back so that we're able to upholster both the front and the back. Now the tools that you need, there are specific tools for stripping upholstery. This is a staple puller. This one probably works the best because it has nice sharp teeth that you can really get under to be able to pry the tack or the staple up. The downside is that what you have to be careful of is rocking it against the chair frame and actually damaging the chair frame. So you do have to be, sort of gentle with it. You can use a screwdriver, although it's definitely harder with a screwdriver. But if you don't have if you're doing just like one upholstery job, you can use a screwdriver in a pinch. And I do also keep an eye out for tack and staple pullers at antique stores or flea markets. There's always like the tool guy, the tool guy who has like, all these saws and hammers, and that he's like a hoarder, and his wife is like,
done.
It's time to get those out of the house.
Out of the house.
So he has a booth to sell them in. So anyway, I look for tack and staple pullers because oftentimes these, they're different shapes, different widths, and sometimes these will work better on other tacks and staples, or stacks as well. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. So you can use those. Another tool that I like is a wire cutter. It actually, I use it as a pair of pliers basically, and I use the wire cutter because it has these angled teeth that make it really easy to get underneath tacks and staples to sort of pry them out. And you can also cut staples with it, or cut these strips of tacks. So I'll use that tool as well. Christy's been using this one so far.
Love it.
Love it, and I've been using this, and I think we're both doing pretty well with it. Another recommendation just for safety, first of all, watch where you step, because tacks are going to sort of fly, and I've stepped on them before, so make sure you wear shoes, and you don't have little kids running around while you're doing this. Also make sure you do a good sweep and vacuum when you're done. I do usually wear gloves. I have a lefty for you, righty for me, just one on my dominant hand. Now the gloves can get kind of cumbersome, so you can choose to wear it or not. The reason why I do wear it is if you're especially stripping a sofa and you get to the end of it, it's just your hands are just raw.
Yeah.
So you might want to put them on like halfway through. For a small project like this though, you might not need them. And the other recommendation would be to wear some kind of eye protection, because if you're, if you're going to be There's our train! We've had a train come through some design rambling videos, and there we go. There's our train.
Like clock this thing, like see when it comes through.
It's a little like it's becoming a trademark. Hey, not everybody can have a train in their
That's true.
their videos, right? So anyway, you what was I talking about? Oh, eye protection. Yeah, so you want to wear some kind of eye protection just in case you have a staple fly. Now, I've never, ever had that happen, but I was just saying to Christy, I was like, this is going to be the time when I'm stripping this chair, and it's like, my eye! So I would recommend wearing safety goggles if there's any concern about that at all. So we're going to go ahead and continue stripping off these chairs, and then we'll talk to you about upholstery. Stripping the chairs. That took about almost an hour. Yeah, maybe 45 minutes to an hour for us to, we each worked on one chair.
Had a little help.
A little help. She was pretty quick though. And you might be able to see or maybe not from back there, but we did leave some of the staples in. It's really not that big of a deal when it comes to reupholstering, as long as the staples aren't sticking out or they're not going to be in the way of new staples that you're putting in. So that's just me though. There are going to be some people who they have to get
to pull them all out.
Every little thing. I'm not that way. They're just going to get covered again. So what I don't see does not bother me. Another thing that I would suggest is making sure that you keep the fabric pieces intact as much as possible, because we're going to use these as templates for the new pieces of fabric. It's so much easier than trying to cut something that shape, without some kind of guide.
Right.
So we're going to use these as templates. So we did keep all of the fabric pieces to use for that. Now, this is the point where you're sort of like, oh crap.
What did I do?
What do I do with this chair now? So we've noticed a few issues. First of all, these chairs, the foam is in really pretty, I wouldn't say really bad shape. Like, we don't have to replace it, but it's very hard and it's sort of shedding a little bit. So it's definitely deteriorated. But we will cover that with some just some cotton batting to sort of give it some softness, and it should be good to go. Everything else about the chair feels good. Like, it feels sturdy when you sit on it, so I'm going to leave it alone. Now, we could go and replace the foam. I really don't want to get into that, though. We're just going to go with what we have and just make it a little bit softer and more comfortable. This frame we were talking about the age of the chair, and due to the foam as well as some of the things that are on the frame, it leads me to believe these are about somewhere between 1950s, 1970s. It has that speckled finish that you saw on a lot of furniture in the 1970s, so I'm leaning more towards that era. If they were older, the wood frame would definitely have a softer finish on it. It wouldn't be so glossy. Yeah. And also, it wouldn't have this kind of foam. It would have like horsehair stuffing or an all-natural cotton batting. You would see burlap on here, and instead we've got this foam. So we're going to work with it to the best that we can. Because it has the speckled finish, it's kind of shiny, and it also has some hand-painted gold detail that I'm not too fond of. We're going to go ahead and paint the frames. So that's the next step before we upholster. If you want to paint, strip, refinish, do anything to the frame of the chair, this is the stage you want to do it in. So we're going to mix up some milk paint and get to that.